Sabah everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today, Realme finally announced the brand new GT Neo 3T. This is the latest device from Realme that features the Snapdragon 870. We're talking about a high refresh rate, 120 Hz refresh rate display. We're also talking about a basically 80-watt charging for that 5000 mAh battery, and of course a 64 megapixel camera on the back that's going to be the main sensor. A lot of updates, a lot of nice things, and of course still racing inspired. This is TK, and this is the GT Neo 3T from Realme. Like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos on the channel. So here we have the package. We get the phone, we get the 80-watt charger that is included in the box. We have a SIM removal tool, USB-A to USB-C cable. We'll be able obviously data charge and transfer our information to our device. And of course, included is a case. Now, some of the main specifications that we have to keep in mind here is this is the Realme GT Neo 3T. So this is the T addition to the 3 that we've seen before. Now, this one has an 80-watt charger as opposed to the 150-watt charger that we saw with the 3, although we do have a higher capacity battery here at 5000 mAh as opposed to what we had with the 3 that's a 4500 mAh. So we got a higher battery and still be able to charge 50% in about 12 minutes. The Snapdragon 870 is a very comparable processor to what we saw with the MediaTek Dimensity 8100, although I feel like the 8100 is a little bit faster, but they're pretty much in ballpark of each other. This is basically an 865++. Now, here we also have a 120 Hz E4 AMOLED display that's going to be helping us to get some of the best gaming experiences. Stainless steel vapor cooling plus, that allows us to actually stay cool. On top of the fact that I will say that the 870 does definitely run cooler than the 8 Gen 1 or the 888. So definitely a much better gaming experience overall. Now, switching it over to the front, we have a 6.67-inch 1080p 120 Hz refresh rate, an in-display fingerprint sensor that gives us the ability of basically getting some nice configurations here for gaming. And of course, power button here on the right, nothing on the other side beside that. Volume rocker sitting here on the left side. And of course, at the top, we have one of the microphones. On the bottom, we have basically a SIM tray, basically supporting the dual SIM cards, a USB-C, one of the additional microphone, and a bottom firing speaker that's married to the top earpiece to provide us stereo speaker experience. I have it connected on T-Mobile here in the US, of course. Let's go ahead and unlock it. We have dark theme configuration built in, but let's go ahead and turn off the Wi-Fi. For me, I've been able to get basically 4G LTE on T-Mobile, and that's been the best connection that I'll be able to get. Now, it's not 5G, but I'll tell you this much. When I'm actually, some of my speed tests that I've been able to do, 115 down, 52.6 up, almost 53. There's no question speed on this is going to be absolutely fantastic, even if you decide to bring it in and you're not getting a full 5G signal. As I mentioned to you guys at the beginning, we have the Snapdragon 870 processor. We have 8 gigs of RAM, the ability of expanding it with internal storage capabilities. Android 12, of course, with Realme UI 3.0. And I did receive a couple of updates on here. The model that I have also has 256 gigs of internal storage, so I've only used about 36, almost 37 gigabytes. But overall, the experience here is very nice. What we get here with Realme UI is customizations, personalization with wallpaper. Color picker here gives us the ability of changing the colors on the actual UI element to match the wallpaper that you're using, and even customize it to that event. Always on display with different options that you're able to use. We have portrait canvas and a whole bunch of different options that you're able to get here. Of course, under display, you're able to go in there, customize the experience on your display. Now, I kept it on high for the refresh rate, but you're of course able to change that to be automatic to be able to save yourself some time, well, some battery on that one. The UI, simple. On the left, we have the Google Feed. The ability of turning on the app, well, the drawer works pretty nicely, and you can download, install applications directly from the Google Play Store. And of course, let's talk about benchmarks because, you know, why not? We have the Snapdragon 870. I did run these tests with GT Turbo on, so this is one of those modes that we have present here, the GT mode. And when you click it, you get this nice animation. And typically this is reserved for gaming, so it does turn on for gaming. So this is how I ran it. So with a basically a single score of 996 and 2747 for multi-core. And of course, if we jump into compute, we pretty much got 3599 on this. So it looks really nice, works very nice. And just to also mention to you guys, we do have a screen protector that's present and pre-applied on this display. As I mentioned to you guys in the beginning, we have a 64 megapixel primary shooter. We have an 8 megapixel ultra wide and a 2 megapixel macro lens. So basically a primary shooter that's going to be pretty much what we live in, and it's going to be able to give us 4K 60 frames per second easy. On the front, we have a 16 megapixel camera sensor that's giving us 1080p resolution, and that's going to be typical to what we see from Realme. And of course, we have street photography, night photography, video. Video, as I mentioned to you guys, 4K 60 on the back, and 1080p on the front. Although 4K 60 is primarily reserved to the main sensor, not on the ultra wide. If you jump into the ultra wide, we definitely drop into 1080p, as you'll notice right there. If I switch over, we get back here. And the telephoto, because we don't have a telephoto lens, this is technically still using the main sensor. So 4K 60 is also available on that 2x option that we get there. We have photo mode, portrait mode, primary shooter here, all full 64 megapixel. And of course, we have a few other options: dual video, movie, pro mode, panorama, ultra macro to be able to utilize that macro sensor, and of course, time lapse, slow motion, text scanner, and of course, tilt shift. All of these can be customized, but let's not waste any time. Let me share with you guys a quick sample video of audio and video on both the front-facing sensor and the main sensor on the back. We're going to start off with the front-facing camera. It's a 16 megapixel sensor. 1080p resolution is going to be the maximum, and that's typical to Realme devices. So 1080p is going to be on the front. Let's go ahead and switch over to the back and get that 4K 60 frames per second. Switching it over to the main sensor, we have a little bit of wind going on right now, but overall 4K 60 frames per second is going to be the best resolution we can shoot here. And this should be a good example of what the power of the Realme GT Neo 3T can do. And as you saw and heard there, it actually looks pretty good. Again, my recommendation for you guys, if you're going to be focusing on getting the best experience out of basically on the 3T, is use the primary sensor on the back, which again is a higher megapixel sensor than what we saw on the 3 model. So larger battery, higher megapixel sensor, and of course, we're able to enjoy stereo speakers on here with this. So let's go ahead and play our favorite song. This is Jumbo by NCS Release.
Jack it up.
Definitely gets pretty decently loud, and of course it doesn't distort at all at the higher level, so you'd be able to enjoy content, of course watching movies or even just having phone conversations with this. We have enough speakers to be able to give us clear audio, and of course the stereo speakers sound really nice. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys are also wondering, and obviously since this has the GT title in it, this is the Neo 3T, how does it actually go when it comes to gaming? Now, we still have the gaming center here, the ability of downloading and installing games. I installed Dead Trigger 2, Real Racing 3, and of course PUBG Mobile. As far as gaming with PUBG, this was actually really nice. I was able to lock in basically a solid 60 frames per second in Extreme Edition. I'll give it a second to finish loading. We still have access to the gaming system here. Let's go ahead and bring it up. We have the ability of turning on the performance mode, either going GT mode, balanced, or low power. In this situation, honestly, you can't really go wrong playing either GT mode or balanced, but overall, it's going to give you the best experience on GT mode, but it will drain a little bit more power. Game focus mode, of course, we have notification block. We also have the ability of turning on system information to see what the frame rate, the GPU, and the CPU performance is done. And of course, last but not least, is screen recording, game filters, touch optimization, orientation lock, and of course editing the modes that we have. And of course we also have the ability of seeing the brightness of the display. You're able to turn that on, and of course how much time you have left, the battery temperature, as well as the battery basically percentage that's left in there. So let's not waste any time. Let me share with you guys with a quick sample of gaming on the brand new 3T. Now overall, as you saw, gaming is not going to have any problems here. We have a high refresh rate display, we have a 1080p resolution panel that gives us the ability of utilizing that 5000 milliampere battery for an extended amount of time. So this is where the balance and performance kind of kick in for the GT area. And of course the Neo 3T optimizes that with the additional battery storage at a 5000 capacity as opposed to the 4500. So for me, camera performance as you're looking at right now, it's pretty decent. The main sensor on the back is obviously going to give you the best experience. Video quality as well as image quality look really good. We have some night mode options as well. And at the end of the day, the 3T gives us a well-balanced experience with some improvements over what we've seen in the past. The 870 is definitely a very powerful processor. And of course, the experience with stereo speakers, the camera experience. Now, when it comes down to the design, I can definitely say that Realme has been hitting it out of the park. Every device that I've seen from them up to this point has definitely been not only unique, but offers us a very unique textured experience. So the standard 3 model, if you remember, has more of a racing stripe. This one has a little bit more of a racing flag finish. There's going to be 3 different colors available. And of course, some of the customizations I'm talking to you guys about here are obviously by comparison to the standard 3 model. I would say the more the 3 model, not the standard. The 3 definitely has its own unique characteristic with the 150 watt charging. Of course, you have the ability of using the MediaTek Dimensity 8100. There's a lot of different unique characteristics there. I think the 3T gives us the ability of getting a little bit more customized experience with a higher battery capacity, high refresh rate, same thing, but still have the ability of having fast charging with that 80 watt charging that's included in the box with the charger that we're talking about here. So let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think of the brand new GT Neo 3T from Realme? And of course, which one is your favorite color? For me, seriously, the yellow one or the orange one here looks absolutely fantastic. And depending on how the light hits it, as I'm showing you guys outside, you get that nice little shimmer going on. And of course, the fact that they include a case makes it even better because we don't have to look for one outside. So thank you very much to Realme for allowing me to check out the 3T and of course, share with you guys my experience. I'll see you in the next one.